Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. Children, yesterday under the freedom struggle in Hyderabad state, we tried to understand the role played by the Hyderabad State Congress, and before that, we tried to even understand about the role of Andhra Mahasabha and Andhra Janasangam. Today, the most important event in the history of Telangana we are going to learn, that is the Telangana armed struggle, where the peasants have took up the arms to fight against the Nizam. That's considered as a famous revolt in the history of India even, which is considered as a Telangana armed struggle. So this is a revolt against to the Nizam rule by the farmers, okay, the Raitu Sangams, which have been organized by the Communist Party, because Andhra Mahasabha is dominated by the communist ideology people, okay. So these Andhra Mahasabha has taken over by the communist people, and they had really planned for the armed struggle. From 1929, Raitu Sangams were established at Nalgonda, Pillalamarri, Karimnagar, etc. to fight against the exploitation by the Patels. Patels in the sense the land owners or the landlords. The Patels, Patwaris, Deshmukhs, whoever was considered as a headman in the village, okay, the Dora. So against to them, many Raitu Sangams were established in 1929. So the revenue and police officials, the Andhra Mahasabha, and was also very active in such areas, in the Karimnagar, in Warangal, in Pillalamarri, in Nalgonda. In these areas, the Raitu Sangams as well as Andhra Mahasabha was very active. So establishing the libraries and night schools and educating them about what's happening around them. So people became some conscious about the exploitation being done by the Patels, Patwaris and Deshmukhs. The communists working in Andhra Mahasabha and Kisan Sabhas took the leadership positions in Andhra Mahasabha in 1946. As I was telling you, communists have taken over the Andhra Mahasabha in 1946, and they gave a radical program. Radical means a drastic, okay, a drastic program against to the Vetti. Vetti is nothing but, what is Vetti? We have seen in the previous classes. Okay, if you work under somebody without wages, then it is called as Vetti, free labor. So such kind of Vetti practice was there. Most of the small caste or the lower caste people used to work under the Reddis and under the Velma Duras without paying them any wages. So they had given a very radical program against to this Vetti, and they put forward the demand of the land for the tillers. That means whoever has tilled the land, that land belongs to them. That was a demand which has been put forward by the communist people. The Andhra Mahasabha spread to the Nalgonda, Karimnagar, Warangal districts. The Andhra Mahasabha set up village level branches also even, and which were known as Sangams, that is the Raitu Sangams. And the Communist Party leadership to the Sangams, it has given leadership to the Sangams. Initially, the main demand of the peasants were limited to fight against the illegal feudal exactions. That is where they used to collect excessive taxes. Initially, it started revolt there. Excessive land rent and removing the peasant or the tiller of the land from his land and not giving him the land ownership rights. So this was what actually initially it got started. It was meant to draw all sections of the rural society. That means small landowners, landlords and service castes. These all people slowly had come into this movement, and this has got converted into the struggle against the Duras and the Nizam. So it got transformed as a struggle against to the Nizam and struggle against to the Duras or to the landlords who are present in the village. The Andhra Mahasabha has given a petition to the government about the misdeeds of Visnuri Ramachandra Reddy opposing the collection of a levy, that means of a tax that Ramachandra Reddy is collecting more than the government has put. So when the officials came for the inquiry from Nizam, the officials had visited the Visnuri Deshmukh region in order to find out whether there is a truth in collecting the more tax. So a sort of commotion developed there. Ramachandra Reddy tried to become more violent so that no inquiry would take place there, and misuse the grain levy by him would not come to the notice of the officials. In order to do this, the Andhra Mahasabha activists led by Doddi Mallaya, an activist of Andhra Mahasabha called as Doddi Mallaya, was passing through the Gadi, and one of the follower of Vishnuri Ramachandra Reddy, the Dora's follower called as Miskin Ali. The Miskin Ali, what he did is from a hole he shot the Doddi Mallaya, so that hit Doddi Kumraya, who died instantly. Actually they wanted to hit Doddi Mallaya, but the bullet has hit to the Doddi Kumraya. So it happened on 4th July 1946, and this was supposed to be the beginning of the armed struggle. The incident which has been sparked off is known as the famous Telangana armed struggle. Our Sangams were set up at the village level and processions were taken out singing the songs in favor of the Doddi Kumraya. The Deshmukhs and Nizams tried to violently oppress the movement. This forced the Sangams to build squads of armed fighters. Because the government was trying to oppress them, suppress them, they started preparing themselves even to fight against the government. So they prepared the armed squad. Squad means group. Armed squad they started preparing. They started driving away the Deshmukhs from the villages and set up their own rule in the village panchayat. And guerrilla squad. Guerrilla means hiding and hitting the enemy. So that kind of guerrilla squads were formed to defend the village panchayats and the Gram Raj committees set up by these Sangams. And cultural groups were also formed to sing the Burra Kathas. You know what is a Burra Katha? Okay, 3 people will be there. The head will be narrating the story. Such kind of Burra Kathas, singing songs went from village to village in order to arouse the people. The enthusiasm to fight against the Nizam was passed from village to village in the form of the songs. Even today in the Naxalite movement we find the same kind of thing. They sing the songs through which we get the goosebumps and we feel that, oh, we are being exploited by this government and to join against to the government into their organization. The people like Nalla Narsimhulu had set up a squad, a group to arm the people's movement, recruiting people mostly from the Vetti workers who were the victims of these Vetti workers. They were appointed, they were recruited into his squad by Nalla Narsimhulu. Under the guidance of the squads, the Sangams established the parallel government also in the village level, and there was a people's code, Praja code, where if anybody committed mistake, they were punished even then also. In this manner, Nalgonda, Warangal, Karimnagar districts were broke from the Nizam rule and established the Sangam rule in its place. So this is how the Sangam became very active at the village level, and the entire Nizam government was not seen in these districts of Nalgonda, Karimnagar and Warangal. Wherever they established their power, Vetti was abolished. Immediately Vetti was brought to an end, and eviction of tenants. If the tenants were not paid previously, the tax was not paid by these tenants, Kaulu. If they doesn't pay the tax, immediately they were removed and a new person they used to hire their land. So that was also stopped, and rents were reduced, and wages of the workers also got increased. The excess land of the landlords was distributed to the landless peasants. So these all things, and they also burned the village land records which was in the name of the landlords. They seized the grains hoarded in the houses of the landlords and the merchants, and it was redistributed to the poor people. So about the Telangana armed struggle, further we shall see in the next class, children. Thank you.